very zoomed in. There we go. So here's, is this correct? Let's zoom in a bit. Alright, so here's the plan today. I'm going to give myself, let's say, an hour and a half. So this is going to be an hour and a half long stream, and we're going to try to rewrite the core of my tech letter app to use Remark.js instead of Showdown.js, because Showdown has some really weird bugs that I don't think I can solve. So I'm going to refactor to Remark because that one is used in Gatsby and generally seems to be more reliable. So that's what we're gonna try, and we're gonna see if it works. The main use case that I'm trying to solve, I'm going to make a test markdown for myself. So okay, that's that. So this is going to be the test case markdown. So the goal is that we have JavaScript here, and this says const var equals blah, and then we have this is a variable, this is a const set to value blah, and then we're going to have another one, JavaScript script, like that, and it's going to say const blah equals var. We are now creating a blah constant set to var. Alright, so this is the code, and you'll see that if I paste that here into my markdown window, we only get one instance of the actual code being transformed into a screenshot. Let's see if that shows up. There you go. So it creates only one of them, but there should be two screenshots. So that's the bug that I'm trying to fix. And I think the best way to fix that bug is to move to Remark instead of using Showdown. And that's what I'm gonna try to figure out how to do. So we're gonna keep this markdown, and can I click X? No? Okay. Click through mode, there we go. And now I should be able to click things through my chat. Okay. And obviously if you come onto the stream, it's always nice if you say hi so that I know you're there. I always make sure to say hi back. What is, let's see, test.js, what's in there? Okay, that's a test we don't need anymore, so rm test.js, and I'm going to crib the basic setup from not from a blog post of mine, although I think I do have that. Swizet's Remark, I'm sure I have. Have I written about this before? I haven't. How to build a Remark plugin, blah. Awesome. So I have written about it before, and let's see if I wrote anything actually useful for myself here. Okay, that looks complicated. I'm going to instead look at a different project of mine which is already using Remark, and that's gonna help me get things done faster. The other one is thread compiler. So thread compiler is already using Remark, so I'm going to steal some of my code from there because that's going to be easier. So we're going to use Remark, Remark HTML, Remark UTF-8, and so on. Awesome. Let's do that. So yarn add Remark and Remark HTML, and then I'm going to deal with the other ones later. Actually, I can do Remark code screenshot immediately. I think that one's actually something I built, so I'm gonna do that later. Okay, installing Remark. So the next one I have to figure out where I actually... Okay, I'm going to need my test file. So where did I put all of my code for this stuff? So we have the letter builder, source. Oh, okay. Letter renderer, export button, context. Let's see, Sometimes my chat room doesn't actually work very well. Interesting. Okay, so nobody's chatting, that's okay. So index CSS, index.js, letter renderer, context, markdown input. Let's see. So markdown input has a context consumer that creates a text area and then calls onChange markdown, which comes from the context. And where do I put that in context? So we have context here, React create context, provider consumer, okay. So let's see, letter renderer then. That's going to be this one here. And I'm using React Bulma instead of React, which is what I'm more used to now. Oh, let's see, how does this work? React Showdown gives me a markdown file. Okay, that's what we're going to change. I'm gonna go into my thread compiler code, look for components, and we have thread render, and I'm going to use stuff from here. Ooh, I actually built a use remark hook, okay. Okay, so then the next thing is I have to upgrade my React to use 16.8. What is the latest React? Come on, latest React 8.6. So I'm going to upgrade to 8.6 like that. Hey Candy Cane, how are you doing today? Git status, and I'm going to say yarn update React and React DOM. So that is it yarn upgrade? Yarn upgrade. Lazy Sundays, those are great, aren't they? Okay, let's try running just yarn. I always forget how to upgrade packages. Awesome. So we got that. Let's make sure we have the right file, node modules, React, package.json, grep version 8.6, perfect. So now I can use, what's it called? What can I use? Hooks. I can use hooks now. Okay, let's make a commit. Let's make a new branch. Git checkout -b remark. Use remark, and we're going to say git commit -m upgrade React, install remark. Awesome. So the next part is what? Let's see, how does this do it? So we get the renderer, tweet style, use context. Where is use remark? Rendered is use remark value. Okay, so here where we have letter renderer, we're going to change that a little bit. I'm gonna go into context, and it's also going to export default context so that I can import it here. And I'm going to take use context from React. Change that to React. We don't need the consumer anymore. We're going to say const markdown equals use context, which is going to be, where is it? There. So import what's it called? Just context. Import context from, let's call it markdown context. Markdown context from /context. No, /context. Yep. So we import that. We say use context markdown context like that, and then we can just return the stuff. So we don't need consumer things anymore, and we can say return blah. Okay, what is the ref? So we're getting a ref. What am I missing? It's complaining about something. Div Okay, let's try this. Return null, and then blah. What? It's still complaining. What's it complaining about now? Unexpected token. What? Okay, let's let a renderer. I have a feeling something is weird here. Content heading React Balma, Showdown Twitter, Markdown from React Showdown, Markdown context, const Markdown equals use context, React forward ref. Ah, that's what I'm missing. Okay. We do that. Cool. I don't remember what I needed forward ref, but now we should see. Let's see. This, it should now. So because this is a refactor, we're going to first do a bunch of stuff and just make sure that our changes aren't incrementally breaking things. So this is still gonna work. Yes, because it's still using Showdown. We're just refactoring to use a hook instead of the other thing. Cool, so that's the rendered Markdown, has a heading and then content. And this is where we're going to change it so that it's going to use the use remark hook. So we're going to say const rendered equals use remark. And I think that's a custom hook that I built. It's going to take the Markdown stuff and just render it here. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to put it here so that it's what did I do? Comment, no, what? Comment that out. Okay, that's not working. Let's put it in my scratchpad. So scratchpad here. Go back to Markdown. So const rendered, use remark Markdown, and then we render it. Heading content, here is where we render it, and content, I think that's just a styled component, we say rendered. Okay, now we need the use remark hook, which, where is it? Utils use remark. So I'm going to copy paste that because it's not yet open sourced, and I'm going to say, so these are the things I'm not going to need. I'm going to say import use remark from /utils/use remark blah. Do I have utils ls source? Let's make it. Or let's see what's in utils here. Source utils use remark. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. Touch or yeah, let's make a utils. Make dir source utils touch source utils use Remark.js. We go to use remark, and I can take all of this stuff, blam, and change to the React renderer, and we're going to not use remark code screenshot just yet. We're just going to do remark process input output. So render then output sent rendered output contents, what, return rendered. Okay, this looks confusing, but hopefully we can get it working. So we have rendered, set rendered, use state, use effect, render tweet. I think this is just so that we can have promises. I'm going to rename this so that it doesn't say render tweet. We're also not going to use UTF-8. It's going to just be called render. Render, or let's call it remark compile. Remark compile, because why not? Remark compile input, and let's see if that works. You attempted, which falls outside of the project source directory. So we say just dot slash utils use remark. Will that work? Okay. So I'm going to now try pasting things in and seeing what happens. And we're gonna go from there. So this is still our test file. We paste it in and not much happens. Okay. So I think I'm missing something. Use remark compile. We need to render it to HTML, right? So do I have remark HTML? Yarn add remark HTML. That is rendering, that is installing. So we're going to say import HTML from remark HTML, and here we can then say use HTML, and it should now transform everything into HTML. Let's see if that works. It's been a while since I worked with this, so I might be a little rusty, but I'm hoping for the best. Okay. Paste it in. Aha! So it is now HTML, which means here where we're doing letter rendering, this needs to be how do I dangerously set inner HTML, because I always forget how that works, mostly because I don't use it very often. So we say dangerously set inner HTML to underscore HTML, which is going to be our rendered file, right? And it needs to be an object like that. So now when I paste it here, awesome, we get the basic thing working, so that's good. Next one, I can add my old, so I made a Remark plugin for inserting code screenshots, which we can use next. So code screenshot, and we say yarn add Remark code screenshot. That is installing. Okie doke. Yarn start. Let's see. That's being slow. Awesome. Paste. That didn't work at all. Oh, because I forgot to use it. So if we say use code screenshot, let's see. Now when I paste, nothing happens. Okay. So that kind of worked, but it's slow. Okay, let's see. So we can try committing that. Git status, git add source. Let's see what's next. Git commit -a-m. We're using code screenshots. Wow, this is not being a very popular stream. I guess it's already summer and sun outside and stuff, or I just haven't been streaming enough lately. Let's see. Git commit -a-m. What was I gonna call this? Let's see, what was I gonna say here? Git commit -a. Why is this so hard to think of? Oh, right. Switch to Remark rendering. Okay, now so the next one I have to do is figure out how, if I can have these screenshots show up. So it automatically fixed the bug, but the UX is now broken, or at least the UX isn't as cool. Let's see. Okay. So. What was I doing? Let me see something. What? Wow, that is loud. Cool. Why is this still using the old description? Okay. Okay, so how do I fix the So basically now what I need to what I want to figure out is how I can first of all I need to add more plugins so that I can have I can detect YouTube links and stuff like that, make sure that works, but we're still dealing with poor UX now. So let's see, what can we try next? So actually let's see if exporting actually works. So this now has terrible UX because we're not seeing it load individual thingies, but does at least exporting still work? So that copied to clipboard, and I can now go into the scratchpad and let's see. Okay, so that still worked. It does the things. It's missing descriptions and stuff, and it's not links. Okay, so we can fix that. How can we fix that? Wow. Okay, so let's see. Use Remark here. Let's write down some questions. Why are screenshots not linked? How can we show loading for screenshots? Add back support for YouTube, Twitter, etc. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to see how that worked before. So if we go into Showdown, let's see, let the renderer screenshot. So Showdown screenshot would look for a regex for a Twitter or YouTube screenshot, and then render them as a component that did the loading and afterwards created a link. Okay, so now we have to, how can I expand my Remark code screenshot thing? Let's see. Remark code screenshot. Wow, absolutely nobody is using this this thing. That's not cool. Why is this screenshot so bad? Let's see. index.js. So we get the result. We create a type image node with a URL. Right. But we should also make it a link, shouldn't we? So how do I do that? First of all, how do I link to a local version of a Node plugin? Or of a Node plugin? And I have no idea how to do... I wonder if Remark lets me output React components so that we can render and then do stuff after rendering. Because that's something Showdown had going for it. Let's see, Remark code screenshot. Okay, so how do I... Let's go to Remark and see if I'm sure there was a... Let's see, Remark, not another markdown to HTML compiler, can generate and reformat, transform safely to React, add a table of contents and compile to... Okay, let's see, how do we Remark to React? Remark stringify, Remark programmatic interface, contribute, code of conduct, ideas, spectrum, markdown to Remark React. Okay, so transform markdown to React with Remark, an extensively tested and pluggable parser using inner blah. Oh, cool. Oh my God. So much shit. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so we can try this next. Let's give it a shot. So if I install Remark React, so yarn add Remark React. Okay, that's installing. Great. Now how do I use it? Here I can go import Remark React. Okay. Remark to React from Remark React. Cool. And then we can do what? So instead of using HTML, we can say let's do that, and let's say Remark to React. And now let's see if that's rendering. So in the, where is it, letter renderer, in letter renderer, instead of dangerously setting inner HTML, we can set it in the content instead. So we say rendered like that, and now let's see if that worked. Tech letter app, this is reloading. Okay. Cool. Now we go to, what was the scratchpad, and take this code and just see what happens basically. Okay. So that worked, and then if I export, I think it's still gonna work. Now the letter now let's see how do we define plugins for this stuff. What about this? So we have use Remark, Remark to React, create element, sanitize, fragment, prefix, React key default, Remark. Aha. And actually, can you put this stuff in it? Okay. Let's see, how do I... I wonder if I can somehow detect that something is a custom node. That would be cool. So let's try doing that. Okay, so remark code screenshot. This one. Let's see, function code screenshot. So I'm gonna copy paste it here first and then work from there, and we'll see what happens. Let's see. Use code screenshot 2. Yeah, that's a good name. As good as any, right? So we say import code screenshot 2 from /utils remark code screenshot. Should I do it there? Yeah, that makes sense. Now let's see if we can. No, that works. So import code screenshot, and then we touch the file, touch source utils remark code screenshot.js, and we open that one, go to React, and we say import visit from unist util visit, and copy all of this code because that's the easiest approach. Okay. Yeah, because I don't know how to pass parameters in. So this is going to be get code screenshot. This is copied from my old code. There we go. And then instead of giving a type of image, it's going to give me a type of candy cane. How much does renting in SF cost? So the apartment I'm currently in is about $3,400 per month, but I split that with my girlfriend. So I don't know if that's one data point, but it really depends on where you are, how big your place is, and so on. All right, so I have this, and it should. Let's see if that still works. Let's give it a shot. Hey, Stjepan Burkic. Yes, it's pretty expensive, but it's you know, that's just how much things cost around here, at least downtown where we are. Why is it not able to do that? Okay, let's take that out code screenshot. Let's call it code screenshot, and let's see. ls source utils remark code screenshot. So why is that not working? Remark code screenshot source utils remark code screenshot. Okay, let's try restarting everything from scratch. It is in fact 650 square feet, so it is not over 1,000. What? How is I don't understand. Let's try that again. Okay, so import code screenshot from /remark. Oh, duh. That's why it's not working, because we are already in the utils directory. Alright, so now if I paste back my test code, where is it? Scratch Pedikins. We copy that in, and now it's waiting, and eventually it should just show up, I think, unless it's erroring out. Aha, yes. Alright, so that worked. That showed up. Now the next step is rendering it with a React app, with a React component. So Rent is, so how big of an issue is rent for most of the folks in SF? It is the biggest issue for most of the folks.
It's the biggest issue we have.
Exactly. So I don't know if you heard my girlfriend screaming in the back, but it is the biggest issue.
It's the one thing making us poor.
Poor is a very strong word for what we are. Okay. Now let's see. Get code screenshot, URL. Yeah, so that's the thing. Most normal people have either moved out of San Francisco or they get what's called like they've been here for so long that rent control keeps their place affordable, or they just live many people per apartment. That is very common. Like I have friends working in tech who live with their boyfriends and other roommates. You know, so it's very common for people here to just share apartments. So node type, if we make a new one, and let's say it's a screenshot component, and we will see if this works. So use Remark, code Remark to React. How do we configure it? Remark to React. Where do we put Remark React components? Remark use React options. Aha. So options. Yep, communism 2.0, pretty much. Now let's see if we can do this trick. So we are going to say instead of URL, it's going to, okay, it can do the thing, but let's do screenshot component. We're going to say Remark React components, and we say the screenshot component, it renders as screenshot component, right? So we have screenshot component, and we import that, import screenshot component from dot slash components dot slash utils. Actually, let's just write it here. That's going to be easier. So we're going to say const screenshot component is a function that gets, what does it get? Override default elements such as AP, etc. by defining an object comprised of element, component, key value pairs. For example, to output my link components instead of A and my paragraph instead of P. But what are the props that I get into it? That's the one I don't know. So let's return a hello world. Hello world. Okay, so this is just to test that it is in fact working to replace those. React must be in scope when using GSX. Right. React. Okay. Now let's see what happens when I paste in this code. So this should still kind of lag because it's going to be going to my lambdas to get the screenshots and the URLs. But when it does render, it should show as no, that did not work. Okay, can I not just make up a new type? Let's see, remark code screenshot. So this right now, this used to be returning an image with a URL, but we changed the type. Visit 3 code nodes to change push, and then it push node blah does the changes, node value,
Alexa, play.
Node URL, node type. Okay, let's go to Remark React and see if it supports at all. Or like, how does it decide which Remark React components to use? Use fragment, create fragments instead of an outer div available. Create element, how to create elements or components. Default require React create element. Are from index.js.
Is the music bothering you?
Now create element on call type props children clean tree sanitize root type div. Tree sanitize tree to h table cell style. I have no idea how to do this. Okay, let's try keeping it as image and let's try changing that to use the screenshot thing. So where was it? Use Remark. Instead of screenshot component, let's say img and see if that works. So now we're not trying to invent a new React component, or we're not trying to invent a new type of node. So that worked. Okay, we're gonna have to be based on images, which is fine. So what we're gonna do, let's see if that gives, what do we get as props? So we can say props and console log our props and we'll see what we get there. So paste, and then we're gonna get logs down here eventually. There we go. Aha. So we get the source, children key. Okay. So it's an image component that just gets the source. But it doesn't get everything else, which is annoying. It would be cool if we got the entire thing.
I just think you need to be really strategic about what you keep out here versus what you keep in storage. How is your storage right now, by the way?
Right. So Remark code screenshot is right now turning the node type into an image and giving it a URL, but it's losing the value. And then when that gets transformed into the actual React component, so that should be here somewhere, global React var own settings options create element, this compiler create element, so name props children, compile node, okay, compile mdast to React, it gets to h table cell style 3 fragment root props. I have no idea where the values go. If clean, 3 sanitize, 3 scheme, h 2 hast. So what does 2 hast do? It gets the node. 2 hast mdast util to hast. What does that do and how does it do it? Basically, I'm trying to find out where.
Later this week, you said? Whenever she's free. Like whenever she's free.
Create element. I wish I still had, like, what I want is when I'm creating the React element here. So when I create the React component, it would be cool if I had. What if we make the URL an object? Or let's try adding things. So node, let's try adding the value as well. No, try node.url. Let's try adding. Let's see, what do we have of the node here? So source. Yeah, no, that's not gonna work. Let's see what is in the node actually. Let's console log our nodes, and that might give us ideas for how to hack around this. So paste, wait for it to render. Wait for it to render. Okay, so we did output nodes. each of those nodes was type image, language, JavaScript, meta, null, value, blah, position, and then did it have any children? No. And indent start, that's good. And then all of that turned into an image component, which makes sense, and did the thing. So then it just got the source. Where is the Remark React thing using this? Aha, components, settings, Remark components. Where is it using components? Wrapper around create element. If clean is clean, setting sanitize is not false. Okay, so what happens if we say don't sanitize? No, we need to sanitize. That will make more sense. Okay, now I'm going to do a thing. I'm gonna go in here, letter builder, node modules, and I'm going to basically change code directly in node modules so that I can debug the library itself and see if that gives me ideas for stuff I can do with it. So we have Remark React, right? Where is it? Let's order by name. So Remark React. Where is it? Remark React index.js. And we go here. So when we are creating, so name, props, and children, that's what goes into, aha, 2h. What does 2h do? 3 sanitize 3 root 2h. Where does that come from? Table cell style, settings prefix. This is very confusing. React create element, settings create element, or the global one. Fragment, settings sanitize, scheme to host, Remark React components, compiler compile. The h function compile node. Let's see, what do nodes do? Console log node and 3, and let's see if that helps us figure out what's going on. So yarn start, that's gonna reload the code from node modules. Okay, paste, blah, where was I? Scratchpad. We paste that in. Let's see what happens. Aha, node and 3, and that showed up. So node type root, node 3, node 3, root children, what am I clicking? So these nodes, image, JavaScript value. It's interesting that it doesn't have a URL even though we define it. Oh, it does. Okay. It gets a URL. And here we have children, paragraph, image. So the image type still has lang JavaScript, value, and all of that stuff. But then the 3 has children, element p, tag name, image. Interesting. Okay, so here's what's going on. Where was I? Index.js. So okay, let's see if it's also cleaning. Console log cleaning. So when it's changing from the node to host, it's doing stuff. So that's what's changing it from a from an image node to a image tag, which is interesting to know. So there we go. Now let's see. Children. So it's not cleaning, but type text value blah element. So where can we get the? So it's not cleaning anything. Where can I see where toHast options defined? Settings toHast. Now what kind of options does toHast accept? Configure how to transform mdast toHast object. Pass to mdast util toHast. Let's see. Whether to allow HTML object mapping mdast nodes to functions handling those elements. Take a look at lib handlers for examples. Okay, let's see. So we go to Remark code screenshot, and I'm going to say the node type is going to be screenshot, right? So we're going to make a screenshot node type, and then I think what we're going to do next is create our own toHast plugin as well. So we're going to say toHast. Is that how it's defined? So toHast. Yep, toHast. That's going to be an object. And now let's see. So we're going to have handlers, object mapping mdast nodes. So we can say handlers. And we can create basically a handler for the new screenshot type. Alright, mdast. Take a look at lib handlers for examples. So we have handlers here. Let's find the image handler. Let's see how that works. Function image h node. So we're going to say screenshot, and we're going to change that, map that to the screenshot handler. And I'm going to just define it here for now because that's easiest. So we're going to say const screenshot handler equals, const screenshot handler equals a function that gets h and node, and it needs to return, let's see, var props, or okay, so it says const props equals, we're going to keep, let's just keep the node we're gonna keep the node as such as the props, and then we're going to say return h of node, and we're going to say this is still the screenshot node, and it's going to have our props, and then the screenshot component here is going to take the screenshot. No, so we now created a new node type called screenshot. Yeah, so Hast is now taking our Remark code screenshot here that we're defining as the screenshot node type. That's coming back to our Remark to React, goes into Hast, that turns it into a screenshot HTML node, and that renders as the screenshot component, which says hello world. Now let's see if any of that actually works.
Livy, do you want a matcha latte?
Yes, please.
Almond milk?
Yeah. No, we are out.
Coconut milk?
Sure. I will suffer through coconut milk.
So that you want a matcha latte?
Let's see. Scratch pad. Blah. Blah. Let's see if that works. Please work. See, one of the problems with this new UX is that I don't know what's going on. Okay, so it didn't actually render them, which is not great, but it's progress. So we have nodes here, nodes coming in. Children see it says type screenshot, has language value, and it should have a URL as well. It does, so we have that going for us. And then the tree has children, element tag name P, properties, element, why is it not creating my thing? So this has children, where are the children? Text the test case markdown, this is a const set to val. Okay, so that's not working. Now we have here type text and then type text as well. So creating a new type of node did not work for us. Why not? Let's see. Is our handler getting called at all? Use remark, screenshot handler, h node. Let's see, console log, screenshot handler, which has h and node, and it should be returning stuff. Okay, let's see. So paste that in again. Okay, so screenshot handler does get called. Node tag name props children, and it says type screenshot blah. Okay. So why can't we create a new? So where is the h function coming from? Definition handlers, block quote, break code, definition, delete, emphasis, footnote, heading, screenshot. So we do have a screenshot handler, that's us. But when we return things, why can't we create a why can't we make up a new code type? Let's see, what if we call this a, I don't know. Okay, let's try it this way. Let's try simplifying the props. So we're going after using the same thing as this thing. So we say node URL source. If node title is not null and node title is not defined, we define the node title. We don't need to do that. And then we render it as image. So that should probably work, or at least it's going to now turn them back into images. So I paste that in and they're going to be images here. And I'm basically trying to figure out exactly how, if my screenshot handler is working. Okay, so that's working. We then return them as image tags, and those image tags aren't getting passed into the screenshot component because they're not screenshot components. But why can't I create a new tag name? So where is the h function coming from? Let's see, h. How is age defined here? So handlers, common mark allow whether to allow HTML nodes and inject them as raw HTML. Only do this when compiling later with hash-util to HTML. Okay. I just realized I shouldn't have put gum in my mouth. So how can I why is this stuff so complicated? I'm trying to come up with a custom tag name, but I don't know how to do it. Index.js, fragment compiler H. Name props children, return create element, own call components name, to H with the H function here. Okay, so let's try that. So we go here, we say this is the screenshot thingy, and then we go to back to our, where was index.js? Index.js. Now here, let's see what we're actually being called with. Console log name props and children. Let's see if it's actually getting in there, and maybe that's where it's getting confused and throwing away the whole screenshot tag name part. Although I don't think so. I think it's happening earlier. So paste it in, and it's going to eventually process and show up. Okay. So screenshot handler returns the node called screenshot. Does it? I think we kept that, yes. So it's now screenshot. And then code is getting passed here. Code children blah. Oh, that's that. Div props undefined. P props the test case markdown. P props this is a const. So it looks like when I'm trying to do the tree stuff, where was that? Here, node and tree. So that's where it's already getting cleaned out. So the nodes have screenshot type, but the tree does not have screenshot type. It defaults to what if we don't sanitize? Let's delete this and make sure sanitization doesn't happen. I'm gonna restart this just in case it's not properly reloading from node modules. But it basically looks like this H function gets called after my toHast stuff. So we paste that in, it runs. Now let's see what happens. Okay. Node 3. And the tree, aha! So it was sanitization that was the problem. Interesting. So sanitization prevented us from... Thank you. So sanitization prevented us from having custom nodes, which means we can do this. Where we use Remark here, we can set sanitize to false explicitly, and then let's see, this should now work, or at least it should show up as hello world instead of as blank eventually. There we go. Okay. So we now have our screenshot handler, which means we now have a custom node called screenshot that is also screenshot handler, or that goes through our screenshot handler. We're going to give it the full node here, and then the screenshot component itself is going to console log our props, and we'll be able to see what's in the node. Let's see if that works. So paste it in, and it's going to show up eventually. Come on. It's supposed to show up eventually. There we go. And it now says right, so I don't actually know which one it's console logging as. But, oh, I know what it, So I can paste this here while it's happening and go, and we can delete the console logs. Okay, we already deleted them, but let's see. I can go to React things, click hello world, screenshot component, and my node prop has everything. So we have the language, the type, the URL. That's awesome. So now that we have the screenshot component, we can move stuff into here. So Remark code screenshot is going to, instead of resolving the screenshot, it's going to create the URL. So we're going to do this. We're not gonna get the code screenshot right away. Instead, we're going to say node.url equals get screenshot URL, and that's going to happen based on the node value, like that. And function get screenshot URL, get screenshot URL, and that's going to just return this. So returns this stuff. Okay, and now in my screenshot component, now I can copy this whole thing as my screenshot component. So I'm going to, I can actually import this. Totally. Yeah. Okay. Where is use remark? Instead of this, we're going to say this is just screenshot, and we are going to import screenshot from // components screenshot. Where are they? Let's see. ls source. It's just there directly. It's in source of Showdown. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to move source Showdown screenshot to just source screenshot. We're going to import it from there, /screenshot, and then we open the screenshot. So we don't need React here anymore. We open screenshot here, and then the screenshot component export class component extends React component, and it exports the component. We can refactor this to hooks in a little bit, and source is going to be, we're going to get the node from props, and then we're going to await fetch, which is going to be called node dot, what's it called? Node.url, was it? Remark code screenshot returns the screenshot URL, node URL, yeah. We don't need this stuff anymore. We also don't need this to be in the try catch anymore, so we are, it also doesn't have to be promisified anymore, does it? Or maybe it does. Let's keep it promisified. So that is now getting the screenshot URL, and this is saying node.url. So instead of source, okay, we can deal with source later. Or let's say, let's keep it to node. We're going to say node.value is going to be our alt, and our link is going to be we are going to need the link as well, aren't we? but let's see, source image, we can keep that as the image. Okay, so let's see now if we get the same UX we had before. Okay, let's see if we get the same UX that we had before. So scratchpad, and we take the test markdown, paste it in. Aha! We did get the same UX. Awesome! Yay! And that worked. And now if I export it, I still get the same thing I did before, don't I? Sweet. Okay, so that works. Awesome. We basically what happened was that we created a completely custom type of HTML node, or a new type of markdown node that is a screenshot, and then parse that into other stuff. I'm not explaining that very well, but the next steps are going to be adding back support for YouTube and so on. So git status, git add source utils, blah, and we can say git commit -a-m render. Is it render? Yeah. So render create custom markdown node, render as React loader, insert code image. Awesome. Git push origin use Remark. Cool. Now the next one, how do I get back support for YouTube and stuff? And let me get rid of my gum. Alright, so we have that. Now the next step is going to be what? Oh, I'm so thirsty. Alright. Or should I just stop live coding? It's always hard to tell when to stop, but I'm making really good progress here. At the same time, Hemingway always said that you should stop when you're making good progress, didn't he? But let's do this. Telegram done refactor code screenshots to Remark letter builder. What's it called? I think that was the 24-hour startup back when I was working. Hemingway was also a drunk. Hemingway was a drunk, but he was a very successful drunk. Actually, you know what? Let's refactor this to hooks, because hooks are always a good idea. So, function screenshot, and we're going to export default screenshot. So function screenshot gets a node as a prop and returns stuff. So const image set. How much do I research / prepare before a live stream? That is a good question. I do not at all. So I purposefully try to make these live streams as close to life as possible. I know that makes them sometimes a little more confusing to watch, but I think I mostly use them really as an excuse to focus and to play around with interesting things. And I think it's important for people who are watching to see me struggle and to see the raw output, I guess. Because a lot of people, I feel like, don't realize how much time engineers spend just flopping about, not really knowing what we're doing. So I try to show all of that. Okay, and then we have use effect And use effect runs when the node changes, when node.url changes, right? Yeah. Let's do it when the node changes. Use effect, and then we take all of this same stuff. So try blah, and it says await fetch node URL, await res.text. This set state, instead of set state, it's going to call set image with the URL, and otherwise it's going to call set image with the undraw warning site like that. And we need use state and use effect from here, and then we need to render all of this as a link. Bam. So this should now work the same as it did before. Let's see. No. Failed to compile. How dare it fail to compile? Ah, yes. We need to say, so async function, that is just an anonymous function, and that gets called immediately. Right? No? What's it complaining? Async function. Let's do it this way. That? No? What? Oh, that's why. Like that. So now it's gonna work. So I paste that in. No, I paste Scratchpad. We'll paste that one in. Where is it? Bam. Paste. Renders as that thingy. And then shows up. Bam, that one worked. What about this one? Come on. There we go. Awesome. So git status, git commit -a-m, refactor screenshot component to hooks. Wonderful, wunderbar. Now let's see. So now we have code screenshot. Code screenshot node URL. We need to get the original URL as well. Let's see, how is code doing it? So Showdown code. So I'm going to copy this part because we need to, just for, you know, to make a nice link, I want to make sure that when you click on it, it goes to Carbon Now SH. I'm going to copy this. Return blah. Bloop. And I go to Remark code screenshot here, get screenshot URL. We don't need this part anymore. And we're going to node.link equals get source link for node.value. And we're going to say function get source link from our source, and that's going to return all of that stuff. So we have const code type equals JavaScript. Oh, it's always JavaScript? No, it should be node.lang as well. Lang equals JavaScript, like that. And here we're going to say also lang equals JavaScript, or let's call it code type. Code type, so that's gonna make it easier. Code type blah, and I'm going to copy this here as well because we are going to need the source arg. So code source arg btoa source arg. No, here we're going to, let's see, this is in code URI component base 64 decode. We don't need that. We just say this is the source, and our code type comes from node.lang. So we do that, node.lang and node.lang, and now we can test that by going to, I have to go to screenshot, and here where we're setting the image, we're going to link to node.link, and that's going to be a common API for all of these screenshot plugins that we're about to build. Oh, my throat kind of hurts, which is not a good sign. So I go, no, close that. I go to the scratchpad, const blah var, and then let's add some Ruby code. So Ruby, and we're going to say this is Ruby code and should have different syntax highlighting. Now let's see, what does Ruby code, it's def blah end, and we're going to say I don't know, let's just return blah, and that we should be able to see a difference in how this is const foo equals blah 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 blah. Let's see if it in fact uses different syntax highlighting and realizes that the second one is Ruby code. There we go, that worked. Awesome. So we now support different syntax highlighting, git status, and if I click on this, it should open as yes. Awesome, so that worked. So git status, git commit -a-m, and we say support different code languages, and I guess also links. So we now have Remark code screenshot, and let's add Remark YouTube screenshot. Now how would I detect that? Now let's go to the YouTube. And the way I built it previously was to just have, I think it's gonna be easier if I make it so you don't have to wrap URLs in anything. You just paste them in as a URL and the thing figures it out. So let's see. Okay, so get source link, Remark. Okay, so screenshot, use Remark. In use Remark, we're going to say import YouTube screenshot from that blah Remark YouTube screenshot, like that. And then I'm going to copy, I'm just going to copy Remark code screenshot and move it to, that doesn't make any sense, does it? I know what we can do. We can say it's a URL screenshot. So URL screenshot, URL thumbnail. Yes, that's a good idea. URL thumbnail, and we say URL thumbnail, and then we're going to pass in a configuration file or a config for detecting URLs. So touch source utils remark URL thumbnail, remark URL thumbnail, touch source utils remark URL thumbnail.js, remark URL thumbnail, blah, and then I'm going to take the Remark code screenshot. I'm gonna copy all of this and go to URL thumbnail, blah, copy it from, we don't need that part, get screenshot URL, we're going to deal with that soon. I'm gonna need to give it different types, won't I? How did we do that before? I can go to my, so not Remark code screenshot, not thread compiler, but to letter builder. So where is it? Letter builder. Here, letter builder. Come on. Letter builder. And if I go to source Showdown code, here we detected them as YouTube and Twitter and so on. YouTube, Twitter and so on. And then we pass that in as screenshot as a service type code. What? Oh, because we are on the wrong one. I need to go to screenshot, Twitter, com, YouTube, and we passed in just the URL. Sweet. Okay. So Remark URL thumbnail. We're going to say node code screenshot. We're going to visit anything that is a link. Is it a link? We can check actually. So is it still printing stuff out? It should still be printing stuff out. Let's close this and open index.js from Remark React. And here I'm going to console log node and 3 React. Okay, and we say yarn start, and then we try again. And now I believe that when I paste in the YouTube link, it's going to automatically figure things out. Okay, so we have node and 3, root, children, blah. And let's give it, let's try this guy. Copy paste. If I paste that in, what is it? Is it a node called paragraph children link? Awesome. So it is called the link, which means we go through all of the links and see if they belong to what we recognize. So Remark URL thumbnail, code screenshot, return, promise, resolve. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it that way. I'm going to say link, and then each one of those, it's going to become get screenshot URL of node.url, and the link is going to stay up. Link is going to stay node.url. Let me change my camera battery so I start moving again. All right. Let's see. So no, not Telegram. Blah. Oh, come on. Why is it jumping around? So I'm moving on my screen. Am I moving here? Awesome, I am. Cool. Alright, so I am almost done for today, but let's see if we can get this working as well, because I built basically a pretty, what would you call this? It's a pretty generalized approach, right? So let's see. We have this node URL that creates a screenshot. How do I get parameters in? That's the one that I don't know about. So here we're going to say get screenshot URL from the URL. So that's going to return this, and it's going to just say URL equals URL. And I think that and then my lambda is going to figure it all out. So we do that, screenshot URL. Now I don't want every link to become that, so I need to give it a set of params. Now let's see, how does React Remark do that, or Remark React? So if I go to use Remark does compiling, and then here where we're gonna define URL thumbnail, we want to pass in what's it called? I know, parameters, right? So React gets options. Oh, okay, so that's easy. So use URL thumbnail, and we pass in some options, and we're going to say what are the options that we want. Should we just define a set? Yeah, we can define it as regex, right? Right. So we're going to say regex this. So this should automatically give me support for YouTube and Twitter. And let's make it, how do we make it easier? Okay, let's do it this way. Regex is going to be just that one for now. And then in our Remark URL thumbnails, we're going to get options, which are going to be regex, right? Yes, so it's Remark URL thumbnail, and we are exporting that one as well. Remark URL thumbnail nodes to change push, but we're only going to push it if node.url match, how do I do that again? Function match URL, and node URL match, how do I text regexes again? JavaScript string matches regex, string prototype match regex found blah. So okay, if node URL match regexes, or let's do it this way, if regexes.any node.url.match of r, if any of those are true, then we are pushing it to nodes.change. Now let's see if that works. I'm going to take the YouTube URL and hope for the best. And it errors out. Regexes any is not a function. Is it sum? Oh yeah, I think it's sum. Regexes, and by default it's an empty array. Okay, and now I paste it in, and that did not work at all. Node, children, paragraph. The fuck was that? Children type link URL. What? Where is that sound coming from? Okay, so let's see if we got regexes in here. Console log regexes, and yeah, so regexes and node dot and URL. And then we might see if this is even doing anything. So pasting the URL, so it says regexes, we have that regex, and we have our URL, which seems to, like, it should work. Now let's see if it actually matches. Dot match of this thing. No. Okay, so that doesn't match. Okay, what the... What? How did we get to Monty Python from my World of the Worlds? Yeah, so basically what happened is that Spotify started playing Monty Python. A very good part of Monty Python from The Life of Brian, but I don't know why it did that. It looks to be part of the... It's so weird. I think it just kept going. Let's go back to the beginning of the playlist, because it's a good playlist. Alright, so it's not matching my URL. Why? Okay, so let's see. We can do better. We're not going to use regexes, we're going to list domains. Yeah, Monty Python is a great movie. So if I say, how do I parse a domain? node URL parse. No, JavaScript URL parse. JavaScript URL parse npm seems pretty popular. URL require URL parse, new URL. Ugh, why is this so complicated? URL, and then we can get the host name. Okay, so I'm going to install that. Yarn add URL parse, because that seems like a pretty, seems popular enough, right? And it works everywhere. And then we're going to import URL from URL parse, right? And then here we're going to say if thumbnailable, that works. So we're going to say const thumbnailable, let's say domains. So we're going to pass in a list of domains that we want to thumbnailify. So we're going to say twitter.com, we're going to say youtube.com, and we're going to say u2.b, because those are what I know of, and it's also going to tell us whether it's thumbnailable, and then we say const thumbnailable equals domains.sum. So if any of the domains match this, we're going to say new URL of so const URL is going to be new URL of node.url, and then thumbnailable is going to say if URL dot hostname, is it hostname without port number. So if URL dot hostname equals d. So if any of them, if any domains match our list of domains that we want to thumbnailify, then that should return true. Let's try it. Oh, I need to restart the thing. Yarn start. And it's running, it's still running. Awesome. Now let's paste it back in. Not that. Let's paste in the YouTube link where this guy liked the Olympian, and let's see, domains thumbnailable false. Twitter, youtube.com, that should be working. What about host? Let's say url.hostname. Why is that not matching the domains? Host www.youtube.com. Okay, so let's also remove that. Hostname dot replace www dot with an empty thing, because we don't usually care about that, right? At least I'm assuming we don't care about that, or maybe at least when I'm going to be using it, I'm not going to care about that. So that is rendering now. And it gets the thumbnail. Yay! Let's see if it works for tweets. Okay. Rewriting from Showdown to blah. So that should, let's see if that works. Twitter.com. Paste. Yay, okay, so that works. Awesome. Now, I think I also need support for m.twitter.com, just in case. So use Remark here, we can say m.twitter.com. Awesome, so that now works. I should now be able to take pretty much anything and use it here. So I'm going to redeploy this, and this was a very successful what's it called? I think it was a pretty successful thing, pretty successful live coding. So git add source, git commit -a -m, and we're going to say, let's see, git commit -a -m, add back support, git status. So we can say ls source, git rm -rf source showdown. We don't need that anymore. What else don't we need? Yarn remove. Let's see, package JSON. So we also don't need React Showdown anymore. Showdown. We also don't need Showdown, and we don't need Showdown Twitter. Awesome. So that's rerunning. Something itching in my nose. Git status, git commit -a -m. Re-implement all old functionality in Remark. Awesome. Yeah, manager takes all the credit. Git push origin use Remark, and then I'm going to switch to master, and I guess I can just take it from there as well. So git checkout master, git merge use Remark, git push origin master, and then how do I deploy this? Do I think I just run now. Yes, so now, and that's going to deploy, and then I'm going to alias it to the right domain, and I now have a thing that actually works, and it's not going to keep breaking when I try to use it on large blog posts or emails or whatever. So this is going to save me time, which I think makes the last hour and 45 minutes well worth it. This was very successful. Honestly, I wasn't actually expecting to finish this, but we did it. Thank you, Candy Cane, for all your help and support.
Oh, he's so loud.
Oh. Next step is going to be, I'm not sure exactly when, but the next step is going to be adding support for Instagram and for other fun things like that. Error, build failed. What? Yarn build. Let's do it this way then. Cannot find module Showdown Twitter. Who is using Showdown Twitter? Git grep Showdown. Return Showdown helper. Replace recursive. What? Letter renderer. So we're not actually using Showdown Twitter anymore. And app.js Showdown. Okay. Yarn build. I think now it's gonna work. So it's building. Okay, so I can now mark this as done. So I'm going to write a post-it note for it and then mark it as done. Go to build. Let's say now, and then refactor tech letter app into Remark. Wonderful. So we have that. It is done. Cool. So I got that, and now I can say now alias blah to techletter.app, and it is deployed, and I can start using it. So I'm gonna stop live coding now. I will most likely be live coding again tomorrow when we are going to expand this with some more fascinating options. So thanks everyone for watching. I will see you again next time.